Hey everybody, it's Daniel here again with our Heart Love Place Family Crafting. I'm pretty sure this thing is rolling. I'm never sure when the thing starts up or not. So if I look like I'm lagging in the beginning, it's just because I'm watching the camera, making sure it's going. Um, so you see, it's just Daniel again. Miss Tish is still out, um, but she will be back with us at some point, probably next week. We'll see. So we're still sending our love and prayers out to her until she comes back with us and sits with us and crafts with us again. Um, so this craft that we have today is another one that we've done before. I usually save this one for the beginning of the beginning of the year, just because I think it's something awesome to have at the start of the year and do throughout the year. The same as goal planning. I think this is another thing that goes hand in hand with that. So we're going to be doing positive affirmation jars, and this is one I did, I think, last year or the year before. It's probably last year, and I'll explain to you what I did and how I've been using it after we do our scripture and talk about our topic a little bit. So the scripture I chose for this particular project is 1 Thessalonians 5:11, and it says, "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing." And then we go on to say, most of us have heard the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." This saying gives the impression that negative words do not have the power to harm us. But this is not so. In Matthew 15:11, Jesus says, "What goes into someone's mouth does not defile them, but what comes out of their mouth, that is what defiles them." And then in Proverbs 18:21, Solomon says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it eat its fruit." It's for those reasons we should choose our words carefully and work to encourage one another and ourselves. Speaking positivity and love into the lives of others and ourselves can be helpful and healing. It costs us little to nothing to give an encouraging word, and doing so may also brighten our own spirit. So that's what we got for that. I'm not going to read from the paper because last week I had a bunch of stuff on the paper. I'm not doing that this week. So this is my positive affirmation jar that I did, I believe, either last year or the year before. And I always put things that I've created on the jar. These are a lot of my drawings and pictures and things that I've created, except for the top. There's Steven Universe, just because I love that show, and I think Steven is an awesome character. And I think the show was really well written, so that's one of the things I put on there just to encourage myself to just be an awesome writer. And I did this one with pictures that I printed, and I just glued them on, and then I used our trusty Mod Podge. And one of the things I did was on the inside, I printed out a little village, and I don't know if you can see the inside to see the village, and you can see through the little window I left. But I can also see all the affirmations that I left to myself in there. Every once in a while, if I'm having a bad day or I'm just feeling myself or whatever, I'll just write something out and I'll put it in there. And another thing I do is when I write my affirmations, I read somewhere, and I don't know if it's true, but it works for me, is what can help you through a bad day is drawing pictures of food, of like cupcakes and pizza and stuff. So everyone I have on here either has a little, I write an affirmation, I'll put either a little picture of a cupcake, or you can actually see that one. You can see the little cupcake on there. I'll draw a picture of a cupcake and or a little slice of pizza or a little person, and then I always date it so that I know when I wrote it to myself. So we can get into it. But one of the ideas I had for making this a more family-oriented project is to write affirmations to each other. Everybody can have their own jar, and family members can, as they're feeling it, just drop an affirmation in there for each other, or you can have a community jar and write affirmations to each other, and just maybe at the end of the week just read those affirmations. They can be specific, they can be just for the whole family, but I think that's really cool thing to do is maybe everybody have their own jar, and every once in a while just pop something in there for someone, especially if you know they're having a hard day or a hard time, just to keep them mindful that they are loved and that, you know, you're sending positivity to them, even if you can't sit and have a conversation with them, because I know that's hard to do a lot of times with kids and especially teenagers. But if you have just this thing, you can say, hey, I'm thinking about you, I love you, and I'm just popping that in there just to let you know, even if you don't want to hear those words from me. So to get started, just a jar. This is a pickle jar, and I know it's a pickle jar because when I opened it earlier, I smelled pickles. And I've had this jar for a while. I have a lot of jars just for projects like this. You of course want to clean it as best you can, get the label off. And one of the things you can do is just take it and, you know, rip the label off and then just soak it to get the glue off. And it helps if you use just dishwashing liquid, some Dawn, and a scouring pad, and that glue usually comes right off with warm water. Of course, cleaning the inside, like I said, mine smelled of pickles, so I just put a little, my sister always buys me like body sprays from Bath and Body Works, so I sprayed some of that in there, and it's smelling pretty good now. But one of the things you can also do if you don't want to just spray a perfume or use the oil or anything in there is you can probably soak it in vinegar. Vinegar is usually pretty good at taking bad odors and smells out of things. So you take the vinegar, swish it around in there, leave it for a little while, and then rinse it out, and that smell should be gone, depending on what you had in there. Like I said, I had pickles in here, so it was smelling of pickles. Whatever jar you have, you can use a glass jar. If you have some plastic old peanut butter jars, whatever you have is good. You can also go to like craft stores or, you know, the dollar store or Walmart. They actually sell jars for crafting and canning and pickling, all that stuff. So, but me, just because I'm always eating pickles or salsa, I always have these extra jars, and so I just clean them out and I use them. So you want to get it clean on the inside and the outside, because this is where most of your stuff is going to be going usually. But for me, like I said, I like to put stuff on the inside too. Like I'm going to put my village in there. So you can print things out like I always do. I always print out my own pictures and put them on there because I like to try to encourage myself. And when I see my own drawings and artwork, it encourages me to practice and study and get better. But for this particular project, you can put whatever makes you happy on there. It can be positive affirmations. It can be something silly. It can be something funny. It can just be something that you like. One of the things you might want to do is just put family pictures on there. Anything you can print out. Like you can print it. You can use stickers, because I'm actually going to be using some stickers as well. I have these same little silvery letters that I used last time that I really like. You can use old magazines or comic books, although for me, cutting up comic books is like, it's a hard thing to do. I don't do it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to measure it for, make sure it fits in there. And so I'm going to take a little off the top and maybe a little off the bottom to make sure that fits in there. Because I just like being able to look into the jar and seeing something, just that nice little village. I don't know what this is from. I found this picture online, and I would love to know who this artist is. And that fits right in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if the glue stick will work. Because I prefer the glue stick over the Elmer's glue just because it gets messy, and with the paper it makes it bubble a little bit just having it wet. So I'm going to use my glue stick and see how well that works. If it doesn't work, I can always go back and use something else. And since the inside of the jar isn't going to be you know, handled a lot and touched, I don't have to worry about something knocking this off unless, you know, I put something in there and the paper pulls at it. But I think this should be fine. And so I'm going to put that in there, get it where I want it. Okay. Boom. Another thing I could have done is just glued it to the outside facing inward. And then, oh, my hand can't fit in there. And then that might actually be what I did with this one. Let me see. I'm going to open it. Nope, I glued it on the inside. Okay, so I put some on the bottom of this one. You can see it's a napkin in there with some infused oils. And so anytime I open it, I just get this, I'm not sure what that smell is, but it's really nice. So yeah, what you can also do is just take the picture, whatever you have, and glue it to the outside looking inward. But the reason I didn't do that for this is just because I don't want the glue to damage the picture any. I'm just trying to fit my fingers in there. This is where it helps to have little hands. When you got little people to help you, you say, hey kid, bring those little hands. Make sure my picture is all the way in there. And so I got my little village in here. That's something I'm repeating from my jar last year. I just like it. I just think it's cool. Same village, same position. So then I'm going to start covering the outside with my different pictures. And again, from my experience, it helps to just glue things down first and then use the Mod Podge. The Mod Podge is really good for putting a seal on everything and keeping it nice. Like I said, I've had this one for about a year or maybe two, depending on when we did this project last, and that's on there. Like that's good. So what I'm going to start with, like I said, I always like to use my own picture, so I'm just going to cut out some and I'm going to put them on there. But if you have some magazines, some old newspaper clippings, one of the things that I think would be really cool is if you have like an old book that you're not using, which you should be using your books, or a favorite book that might have gotten damaged or might be a little old, or maybe you can just go to the Goodwill and get some old books and cut those out and have them as your outer layer and just have those words looking out on you. I think that would be really cool. And that's something I've always wanted to do, is do a project with the Mod Podge and the book pages, but I can just never bring myself to cut up a book. I think I even bought a book from the Goodwill to specifically do that kind of project, and I cannot bring myself to cut up a book. I don't even remember what the book was, but I brought it home and I said, okay, I'm going to do this project. And I sat down to rip the pages out and I said, nope, not happening. I don't even know if I read the book. It's just there. I don't know. I think somewhere in my mind, I think if I have enough books around, the knowledge will just somehow seep into the atmosphere and into my brain. But that has not happened yet. And I'm still waiting. So I'm just going to cut out a few of these. And of course, I just have to measure to make sure everything goes where I want it. Because when you get to that curvy part on your jar, that's going to be a little more difficult to try to put a piece of paper, because once the paper folds, it's going to wrinkle. And so maybe you can just cut the edge a little bit and fold it over. There's a technique to it. I haven't necessarily learned the technique, but there's ways to make stuff happen. As I learn it, I will share it with you. How about that? So I'm just going to round this off. Oh, I cut a little too far. I'm going to lose a foot. I'm going to lose a toe. Nope. Decide where I want that. And I'm going to try to be mindful that I want to keep that window. This picture's a little big, and in order to get it how I want it, I would have to cut a little more off. So I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use that one. But this one, perfect. Sits right in there. So I always heard you measure twice and cut once. That's good advice I did not take this time. And so as I'm doing this, I'm going to be mindful that I want to keep my window so I can see my little village in there and watch my affirmations rack up. Because I do. Every once in a while, I'll just be sitting there. If I'm having a bad day or something's going on, I'll just write a little message to myself like, hey, keep going. Hey, things aren't that bad. Hey, whatever, whatever. That fits on there nicely. And then Woo. I think we can use that one too. And I usually like to put the glue right on the paper instead of the object that I'm gluing, just because I know exactly how much I'm getting, instead of getting it all on there and then having glue overhanging that I don't need. Although one of the downsides of doing it this way is I get glue on the table and I have to clean that up later, which I will gladly do. I will clean up my mess. Here we go. Straighten that out. Boom. So I've got two going around. And so what I'll probably do is I'll keep this one here at work for when I need it, and then I'll take this one home for when I need it. You can never have too much positivity. I think. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna put this one out. Doop, doop. Okay. There, and watching the time. Okay. And so I'm looking. This one might be a little big. Yeah, you know what? I don't mind that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it on there and leave a smaller window. I kind of like the big window on this one, but for this one, it's going to be a smaller window. It's going to be just a little opening. And I don't mind that so much. It works. So I've got just the 3 pictures instead of the whole, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. It's fine. And then I also like to put something on the top. Like I said, I have Steven on this one because Steven's awesome. Maybe this one will fit. It doesn't. I know I got excited, but it doesn't fit. So what I'll do is I'll cut out. Nope. And there we go. I think we got a winner. I think we got a winner. And then I'm also going to show you how I did the rope around there. I don't have this particular rope, but it is something you can find again at like craft stores or anywhere you can buy craft things. That hemp rope is actually pretty common. I thought I had some more here, but I did not. You know where I do have some? At home. Got plenty of it. And so I got that where I want it. And then I'm going to cut the edges. I'm just going to hold it like that because you got rounded. Actually, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. And just clean it up. And I don't mind if I cut a little. This one isn't exactly what I need as far as size, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another little wrap around the top like I did this one. Because this lid is also, it's a pickle jar lid. It's blue. It was a darker blue, and I put a lighter blue around it. You can also paint these. If you're going to paint them, I would suggest doing a coat of spray paint first, white spray paint, a matte color, a primer. That's the word I'm looking for, primer. Just because it makes the paint hold to the jar a little easier. Of course, that's something that we would want for the adults to do, unless you trust your kid with spray paint. And I barely trust myself with spray paint, to be 100% honest with you. Because I was doing a project at home, and I was painting a skateboard. And before I painted the skateboard, of course, I needed to prime it first. So I took my paint outside and I primed the skateboard. And to let it dry, I took it to the basement. And so as I was sitting at home, just me and my mom, she was trying to figure out why she was smelling spray paint. It's because, of course, the heat was on, which was pulling air from the basement, pulling the smell of the spray paint back upstairs. So I've banned myself from using spray paint until the summertime. And so I'm just going to press that in there just so it conforms to the shape of the top. There we go. It's in there. And so then I'm going to put something around here just to cover that gold. Or I might leave it. Gold is nice. Okay. So what I did for this wrap, around the top and the bottom, I took the cord. I only have the smaller cord here, so this would be more of a job than the thicker cord. And I take a little glue. I think I actually used the Elmer's glue. And you put it on the tip. And then you just go around, leaving no space between your cord as it goes around. So you're tucking it in and touching it, and then every once in a while just putting a little more glue on there, and then just go around and around and around until you've covered the whole surface that you want covered. And then what I also did was, once that was done and I got my whole area covered, is I did the whole thing in Mod Podge, just because once it's on there, it's on there. That it's lifting a little bit on this side where I did a border for my window, but it's not bad. Like I said, I've had this quite a long time. There were a few times I had it in the drawer and it was shuffling around. I've had it in a box, and every time I pull it out to use it, it's just like the first day I made it. One of the things I'm also going to do with this is put a couple stickers. You can find stickers anywhere. I think these stickers are pretty cool just because they're silver and I like silver. And I'm just going to borrow a 9. Make sure I get this right. A 9. Put a dot. So what I was trying to figure out how I would do this, because I'm going to put 917. And I was like, well, there's no spacers or little dots or whatever. But I just took the dot out of the I and put out of the 9 and put it there. That works. See how things just sometimes they just work out. That's 1 and 7. Boom. There we go. So I put that on my top. You can see it kind of shiny. And then I'm not going to do a wrap on this one just because that's very tedious work. And like I said, I don't have this thicker cord here, but I do have it at home. What I will do though, I'm going to put some little blingies on here. These are really cool. We got these, I believe, from Walmart. They don't cost that much. And they're cool for little projects or bigger projects, however you want to use them. This is usually Miss Tish's thing, but again, since she's not here with us today, I will be blinging in her honor. So I'm just gonna put them. I'm gonna put them on here because this is a dark background. I'm just gonna put some color on it. Ooh, where do we want to start? Because I'm gonna use all these little colors. Okay, yeah, we'll put this here. So we've got, of course, your 6. There's actually 7 colors on here. I'm just going to be using 6 because I don't think I need the pink one. I'll do red, orange, yellow. Oh, you know what? Red, orange, yellow. Guess who's going to be using the pink one? Me. Just because I didn't do this in the way I probably should have. But that's art. don't always go the way you plan, but it always goes the way it should be. Oh no, wait. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. We don't need that seventh one. Boom. So I got my little blingies on there. And then I'm gonna take the big shiny diamond one. I'm gonna put that on there too. Right there. We're blinging. And once I get ready to finish this, I would also Mod Podge right over that as well, just to keep it on there. That Mod Podge is magic. And so what I did for this top, I had these paper strips. Someone awesome donated to us. Pretty sure you can find some of these at a craft store somewhere, or you could just take some colored paper and cut them up. And I used this strip here, this blue one. You can see that. I'm just going to do this for example, and I just glued it and Mod Podged it on. And I did have to pinch it in a little bit. You can see the wrinkles in the top. I don't know if you can see the wrinkles, just to get it to conform to the shape of the top. But that's fine because it gives you a little grip for when you're trying to open it. And there have been a couple of times where the lid was on too tight and I couldn't get it open. I was afraid I was going to have to break it to get it open. But I didn't have to do that. We got it. We managed it. And so I'm going to start cleaning up because I'm going to start shutting down because we're just about at that time. So this is our project for today, our positive affirmation jars. Again, I think it would be a really good idea if you have multiple members in your family, that everyone has their own jar, and just drop an affirmation in there, a good word, maybe a prayer, maybe a scripture, whatever it is that you think would help encourage that person. Just drop one in, and when they come in, and if you leave the window, they can see that you left something in there. You just go in there and like, hey, thinking about you, roll a little something, boom. Your kid's coming home from school, they see that in there, like, oh, there's a new one in there. And by the end of the year, if you put one in there for every day of the year, you've got like 365 positive messages that you can recite to yourself or, you know, discuss with your family. And I just think that's awesome because, like I said before, words have power, and we should use that power for good and to build each other up and to encourage each other. So yeah, that's what we got. I'm going to finish this on my own time. I never finish the projects with you guys anymore. But if you come on the Zoom, I will definitely finish the project with you. If you're interested, you can actually leave your a message in the comments and let us know that you're interested, and we'll get you out, get back to you and get you all signed up. Or you can sign up on the website at www.heartloveplace.org. And I think that's it. I think that's what we got. If you need us, we're here. You can catch us again out on our website. You can message us here on Facebook. You can give us a call. Look, I've got the number this time. I don't have to run away. You can give us a call at 414-372-1550. If you're looking for prayer, you can leave a prayer request on our website. Again, that's www.heartloveplace.org. We check it regularly, and when we do our devotion, we bring those prayers to the group in our devotion, and sometimes we just pray alone as we're seeing it on our screen. So we love you, we're praying for you, and we're thankful for all that you do and all that you allow for us to do for you. So we'll catch you next time and later.